Stay inside your homes. That's what officers are telling neighbors right now in Irondequoit as they continue to surround a house there. The latest on the police investigation in a live report right now on ROCity.
Live from the News 10 NBC studios in downtown Rochester, this is ROCity Tonight with Leah Lando.
We continue to follow breaking news. A major police investigation is still underway in Irondequoit. Officers have been on the scene for about 2 hours now. We still don't know very many details, but here's where it's all happening. Police are staged outside a house on Pine Grove Avenue. That's off of St. Paul Boulevard. Right now, Pine Grove is still blocked off to traffic, and officers are asking neighbors there to stay inside of their homes. Lynette Adams is learning the very latest in this investigation. She joins us live.
Well, Leah, I can tell you that this situation is all over. In fact, someone from the Irondequoit Police Department just spoke with the media and told us the situation is over. And in fact, he said the chief would be headed our way momentarily to give us an update. And that's what we are waiting now. In fact, I can see the chief. He's making his way over here, but moving pretty slowly. I can tell you again that the situation seemed to have ended peacefully. It involved some sort of domestic situation. We don't have details of the situation, but we know that it was involving a house on Pine Grove Avenue. Police have had cordoned off the street for at least a couple hours this afternoon, bringing a command post here to the area and not allowing anyone down the street. In fact, people who live on that street have been told they couldn't go home. So it has been a very serious situation on Pine Grove. Again, we are learning some details, and we may believe it has something to do with a domestic situation. It seems to have ended peacefully. We were waiting to hear from the chief any moment now. He has now walked in the other direction. So, of course, as soon as we talk with Irondequoit Police, we will have an update for you here. Leah?
All right, thank you, Lynette, for that live report. We're also following more breaking news at this hour, this time involving our U.S. troops. President Obama is notifying Congress that about 275 U.S. troops could deploy to Iraq. Obama says the forces will provide support and security to U.S. personnel at the embassy there in Baghdad. Just earlier today, Islamic militant groups seized another town in northwest Iraq after vowing last week to take their fight to Baghdad. About 160 U.S. troops are already in Iraq, including 50 Marines and 100 Army soldiers. The president says the forces are equipped for combat and will remain in Iraq until they're no longer needed. We will, of course, continue to follow this and bring you more on News 10 NBC at 11 o'clock. Here's a look at the rest of our top stories that we're following for you. Mayor Lovely Warren asking state lawmakers to make changes to a bill for school modernizations. Right now, the city is in the middle of phase 1 of this plan, but the mayor wants changes put into phase 2 because she feels there isn't enough oversight of the money. Angry neighbors are gearing up again to speak out on the plan to bring new development to Charlotte. It could include a high-rise, and that's causing a lot of concern. Tomorrow, a city council meeting will be held to discuss this plan. It begins at 7 p.m. at the city council chambers inside Rochester City Hall. A sad end to the search for a missing Geneseo woman. Her mother tells us the body pulled from the Genesee River this weekend in Livingston County is her daughter. Cora Calouse went missing back in March after walking away from her Geneseo apartment. Police say she had a history of mental illness and had been drinking that night. Voters in West Irondequoit head back to the polls tomorrow to cast their ballots for the proposed school budget there. The plan didn't have enough votes to pass back in May. This is because the proposed budget is $67.9 million, which is over the state's tax cap, requiring a super majority of votes. We're waiting to find out how many jurors have been seated in the trial of a Rochester man accused of killing 2 people and injuring a Rochester police officer. Police say Ralph Strong shot and killed the 2 outside a nightclub on Central Avenue last June. Days later, when police tried to pull him over, they say he fired and hit a police sergeant. Governor Cuomo is asking for a federal disaster declaration after flooding devastated parts of the Finger Lakes last month. The governor sent a letter to President Obama asking for assistance for Livingston, Ontario, and Yates counties. This letter claiming the estimated total damage those floods left in Penn Yan and Yates County is nearly $10 million. A big announcement for Unity Hospital in Greece. Today it announced its 4-year construction project is finally complete at an official ribbon-cutting ceremony. It now includes larger private rooms, a new 4th floor, renovations to existing areas, and more free parking spaces. The project took 4 years and $180 million to complete. A New York man near Albany is accused of using pliers to yank out 3 of his 8-year-old foster daughter's teeth. 35-year-old Stephen Walker pled guilty to assault. Though he pled guilty, Walker still says he has no knowledge of what happened to the girl's teeth. Police say the child has been placed in another foster home. The recalls just keep on coming for General Motors. 3.2 million more vehicles are being recalled for ignition switch problems. Listen to this. GM says those switches can unexpectedly move out of the run position if the car hits a bump, which can shut off the engine. The company says it will change or replace the keys to those cars affected. We're just days away from this year's Xerox Rochester International Jazz Fest. We saw crews already setting up for the 8-day event. There will be more than 1,500 artists, 325 concerts, and 20 venues. It all starts this Friday in the East End. All right, we're going to go back out to our breaking news. A major police investigation still underway in Irondequoit. Officers have been on the scene for about 2 hours, and we're going to go there right now to hear what police have to say about what's been going on there live.
Good afternoon. The Irondequoit Police Department received a 911 call shortly around 4 p.m. this afternoon from a third-party individual. It indicated that someone was upset over a personal matter. As a result of that, our officers responded, and we took the necessary safety precautions as far as establishing a perimeter to keep the neighborhood and the street safe, as well as utilizing a hyper reach via 911, requesting that all residents stay within their home until we were able to stabilize the situation. It took us a period of time in order to communicate with the individual as a result of utilizing the telephone. And once we communicated with the individual, he followed all of the instructions that were provided to him by the response team, and some of the command staff is just behind me, followed all the instructions that were given to him. Our team was able to deal with that individual, and he's currently being assessed by medical personnel. There were no injuries, but obviously he's very upset over a personal situation that took place.
Were there other people in the home?
Upon our arrival, there were no other people in the home.
Chief, how serious was this situation?
Well, any situation has the potential to be serious. However, as a result of the exceptional work that the officers did from the Irondequoit Police Department, the neighborhood was safe. The integrity of the perimeter was established. The cooperation of the neighbors helped us tremendously during this investigation. And our emergency response team and hostage negotiators, although we did not have a hostage, did an exceptional job in dealing with this person.
Did he have a weapon? Any weapons found in the home?
That is currently under investigation.
Were you concerned, though, about weapons?
We're always concerned about weapons in any type of situation where a person is suffering from some type of personal situation that's upset them, and we wanted to make sure that no one was injured in this situation.
Now, you said he was cooperative. Did he come out willingly, or did you have to use any tactics to draw him out of the home?
He came out willingly.
I will say, I don't know if this is related, but we did hear a loud bang in the air. It startled some of us. Was it related to the scene?
It was not related to this particular address.
And you're not releasing the man in question, his name?
We're not releasing any information at this particular point. I won't release any information associated with that until we have the opportunity to work through the investigation, notify the appropriate family members, and deal with it that way.
Again, Chief, talk to the men behind you and the work that it took to bring this to a peaceful resolution.
Well, certainly they are exceptional officers, as well as the patrol officers that work with them. We were able to respond quickly, utilize all the resources available to us. We did call in additional resources as well. They were able to safeguard the situation quickly, effectively, and because of the work that they did, we were able to keep the neighborhood safe. They were able to establish a line of communication with the individual in question, and were able to work through the seriousness of this, or the potential for seriousness associated with it, and within minutes he immediately came out of the house, followed the instructions provided by the response team that were at the address in question, and is now downsizing this particular situation. Once this interview is concluded, we will do a reverse hyper reach, letting people know that they can continue on with their normal course of activities. But we appreciate the cooperation of the residents and the neighbors because obviously it helped us continue to work through this situation.
Our chief, you talked about.
All right, just to recap everything that happened in Irondequoit, according to police there, they were called to a house on Pine Grove Avenue around 3:30 for a person inside of a home upset about something, so they blocked off the area. They asked neighbors to stay inside of their homes for safety, but as you just heard the police chief say, all has ended peacefully. There were no injuries, and we will continue to follow this for you as well. Right now, we're going to take a quick look at the News 10 NBC forecast, and it's hot and muggy we're looking at, right? Or at least air you can wear.
That's right, Jolie. A little taste of summer only through tomorrow night, and it's tomorrow night that a front comes in with some thunderstorms, and then it knocks those temperatures down. We'll talk more about that and the weekend coming up in just a few moments, Lee.
All right, thank you very much. Still to come on Rock City tonight, a follow-up to one of our New York State exposed reports about daycares right after the break. Daycare is a must-have for so many working parents, but the price tag can be more than some make in a week. Basically, it's a vicious cycle. New York State has the second highest daycare costs in the country. That means parents are forced to find alternatives in some cases, resulting in fewer kids in the daycare centers. Because of that, daycare owners either have to make layoffs or raise the price. But as Amanda Shivari found out, there is a bill that could help parents. And what would that bill do?
Well, the bill has already passed the state Senate and Assembly. Now it just goes on to the governor for him to sign it into law, and here's how it all works. If it was signed into law, it would put the responsibility of daycare on businesses. If a business was coming to the state to ask for money, say to start up or create more jobs in the area, the state would say, okay, well, here's your money, but you have to spend a certain portion of it on providing daycare for your employees. This is something that could help parents tremendously. And I sat down and spoke with Assemblywoman Donna Lepardo about the bill. She's the chair of the Children and Families Committee. What are the chances of it actually coming to fruition? Is this something we're going to talk about around the table, or?
Yeah, absolutely. We're absolutely talking about it. I'm already talking with the governor's office about it. I'm in direct talks with them about the bill that we just passed in the Senate and the Assembly in the last few weeks. And the governor has shown a lot of leadership in terms of universal pre-K, putting a lot more money in the budget. We're simply now saying you can now step back and reach children at that earlier period.
This is such an important issue, a big issue, and so many people have been weighing in on both sides. What are they telling you?
They really have. Well, one woman, Emily, she writes to us, here's a thought. Put a cap on what daycares can charge per kid an hour and provide government subsidies to help pay for all of the high-tech stuff they need. Some parents work to pay for daycare, but Steve, he says the high price of daycare is worth it to him. He wrote to us saying $200 per week divided by 40 hours does only equal $5 per hour. So I look at it as me paying $5 per hour and someone to watch my children all day and to get a preschool education. And Leah, when it comes to that bill we were talking about, I checked today with the governor's office and they said it's on the way to his desk for consideration.
Yeah, one of the most important jobs, taking care of our kids.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much, Amanda. We will, of course, keep everybody updated on the status of that bill. And do you have a story that you would like us to investigate? Call our New York State Exposed hotline at 627-2610. You can also email us at nysexposed@whec.com. Your hometown weather expert, Kevin Williams, joins us once again.
It looks pretty nice out there. A couple thunderstorms over the central eastern Finger Lakes. There'll be more tomorrow evening and a change for the cooler late week. We'll talk about it all coming up in just a couple of minutes.